Welcome back, everyone. Today we are diving deep into the world of warehousing and its automation. In this episode, we continue our talks about supply chain with our partner, Wolfgang Lehmacher, a global thought leader in the world of supply chain and the former head of supply chain and transportation industries for World Economic Forum. Thank you, Wolfgang, for joining us today, and it's a pleasure to have you again here.
Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah, thank you. As I highlighted today, we will focus on automated warehousing. And first up, how do you see automation transforming warehousing operations in the next 5 years, let's say?
Automation for me has definitely two layers. One layer is the physical layer, where we automate physical processes. And then there is the information and the control layer, which is the software that controls the machine, simply said. When I think about automation and the beauty of automation, the future, the benefits, what it really means, and where it can lead us, I like to take you on a journey beyond the traditional box of a warehouse, because in fact the warehouse is a very limited view of warehouse automation. From my perspective, everywhere where there is inventory, even the inventory we have bought and which is not within our control, is for me part of the warehouse. Everything what we have and everything what moves, whether it is with a supplier, whether it is on a truck or on a ship or on a plane, is part of the warehouse at large. And what that means is that we can create and reach a very different level of flexibility and visibility in the warehouse. Because if we take this vision, it means that we have a digital twin of everything that moves and which is relevant to us. So that means we have either systems that provide the data, or we have sensors that are linked to the data, or we have people that scan QR codes or barcodes and help us to understand where the inventory is, what conditions are in the ecosystem where it moves. And when you bring this back to the warehouse itself or to one space, we are talking about warehouse management systems. We are talking about insight providers and visibility systems. We are talking about IoT, which can be RFID, and other tools that help us to track. But beyond this, we are also talking about vertical spaces. So we can think about the warehouse as a machine, as a box, as a grid, where boxes move up and down, left and right, front and back, and then move to the places where we need them, where we can either handle them or put them straight on a vehicle to get them out. And of course, if we have this level of visibility and automation, and visibility is the foundation of automation, then we can also bring analytics into the game and think about demand forecasting, which will help us to optimize our warehouse space, optimize inventory, move inventory between warehouses, bring it closer to the client, and allow for a much more effective demand response.
Yeah, actually, this is like a really interesting vision that you have regarding like the warehouse automation, because like usually people just see this as like some facility, some warehouse where you need like to automate the processes, but you vision this as a bigger picture that also implies the moving parts, as you mentioned, like the ships, the trucks, and all the stuff. So this is like really interesting vision, and I can say that this is like really helps to adjust and give a bigger picture with the modern technologies to the whole understanding what is currently moving, what's the currently is in the warehouse, and how to work with this better, yeah, and provide this like better efficiency for the companies to make their decisions. So that's like a really interesting approach. Thank you, Wolfgang. Next, what are the biggest challenges companies face then transitioning from traditional warehousing to automated systems, and how can they overcome them?
What we are talking about here is the challenge of making good decisions.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's where it all starts, and the decisions which have to be made need some homework. I believe that the first hurdle is to assess where you stand. So you need to understand your warehouse as it is. You need to understand what is in your warehouse. This is the baseline. The second is what we have spoken about before. The next step is to have a vision. How do I
Mhm.
envision the warehouse? So what do I want to do? What should that warehouse deliver? It is not so good to start with the technology, right? A lot of people say, okay, there is AI, and let's see what AI can do in our warehouse, right? What we
Mhm.
have
Yeah,
what we have to do is to start with the business needs, to say, okay, what experience do we want to deliver to our clients, to our customers, and what does this mean for our warehouse operation of the future? And then the next step is to pick the right technology. That's a hurdle. There's so much technology out today, so many solutions, that you need to have a good scouting process and good discussions to see what would help me to deliver that promise, which to deliver that vision which I have developed. And then there is another challenge, which is our current realities, right? People have systems. They have systems around, they have systems within. So we have developed now a new vision. We understand what we have a new vision, we have some ideas about technology, but what now? What do we do with what we have, and how can we integrate it? So that's the whole integration challenge people are facing, and there they need to speak with the experts, with the providers. What experience do they have in integrating what we have as the old with the new? Right. So the integration challenge. And then comes the human challenge. We have people in the warehouse. So
yeah.
now we think about automation. That immediately rings a lot of alarm bells with the workers' representative, with the workers themselves, creates fear. So there is the people challenge. There is a need for open and clear communication. So people need to be brought into the process early on so that they understand where we're coming from and where we are going to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And at the end is then the financial part. When we have solved all these challenges and have understood where we are, where do we want to go, what technology we want to use, how that integrates with our existing architectures, and what we have in mind with respect to the people, then we have to cost this. We have to understand, okay, what is the cost of the equipment? What is the cost of the maintenance? Uh, what does it mean for the people? Are there reduction or there are upskilling costs? What does it mean for the error reductions? What does it mean for process optimization, etc.? So there is a holistic financial analysis needed, which of course is a challenge in itself, because there are a lot of assumptions in the play, and people should take the time, talk with other people who have implemented in similar situations, similar technologies, and see how this looks like, and probably work with one or two scenarios, because we all know that plans are just a set of assumptions, and reality is often very different.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Actually, thank you, Wolfgang, for sharing these challenges. I completely agree with all that you just mentioned, because everything starts with like what you want to achieve, what you already have, what's the situation with the people, and how to properly train them, how to set this kind of understanding where we are moving in the next, and of course the financial part. This is also one of the crucial points that the companies need to evaluate and understand how they can then proceed. And of course, plan B, this is the must have for the companies as well. So that is why it's like really important points that you just highlighted, and completely suitable for any company. I believe that they usually have this kind of challenges. Moving on, can you share any examples of companies that have successfully implemented warehouse automation, and what lessons can be learned from their approach?
I always have a hard time to mention companies, but the the examples are obvious. Just think about Amazon. Amazon was the pioneer of uh, experimenting with robotics, Kiva at the time, in their warehouses. So that's certainly a success story. And then there are the traditional large enterprises. Coca-Cola, they have robots that pack pallets. There's
Mhm.
Unilever, works with advanced analytics on demand forecasting. Um, I I think what we can say, it's hard to say or hard to point out a company, but in general, we are seeing that automation on the digital level and on the physical level has become a reality, and that in itself proves the point.
Yeah.
And it is a question for me, how far can we push this? So how much machine will we have and how much human will we have?
Yeah.
But the whole digitalization and automation journey is a success story in itself.
Yeah. So this is like the point that you mentioned. Completely agree with you, because usually the automation brings more efficiency for the companies, and this is like the main purpose why we actually introduce this automation on different levels, in especially in the warehousing as well. And that is why you just mentioned like these big companies that has like really huge turnaround during the day, even like during another, and that is why this automation is crucial for them. And that is why, yeah, this
Yeah.
is completely the point for any company, especially a big one, to have these processes.
You raised the question, what lessons learned, or what can people learn from the success stories? And
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is very much linked. What people can learn from the success stories is linked to what we have spoken about before. Uh, Success means homework. Success means planning. Success means consultation of people who have done this. If you're a pioneer, this is not visible, but usually there's only one pioneer, and then uh, the others can learn from this. There is certainly a benefit to organize test beds and start in a controlled environment. There is definitely benefit in looking for scalable solutions, and not buy 50 robots in one go, but look for a solution where you can start slowly and see how this works out in your environment.
yeah, that's for sure. So actually, like the planning is the main part. So that is where you understand how you can approach this, and of course, step by step approach. Usually, this is something that most of the pioneers in any field start with. So that is why this is like, uh, I believe, 100% working plan for any company who would like to start some automation in their business on any level. Yeah, even like warehousing or some other direction. Yeah. Thank you. And now you also mentioned about the people and the workforce. And my question is, with the concerns about the workforce displacement due to the automation, how can companies balance this like technological advancements with the maintaining human work in warehouses?
There is another point which I think is worth some thoughts, and this is the relationship between machines and humans. With the arrival of AI, we have started to treat or to treat machines like humans. We talk with our AI agents. I believe it's healthier to keep the machines on the level of machines and us in control, because I think it's important that the workers know that there is not a new machine boss coming, overrolling them and firing them, but that these are tools that should help them to do a better job and have an easier life.
Yeah, yeah. So actually, that's completely true. And I agree with you regarding the understanding that usually the technology and also the machines, what's their purpose, I believe, exactly in the support and enhancing the human work rather than automate or let's say doing some kind of, let's say, complete substitution of the people who are working on the warehouses or in any other field. So that's completely agree with you. And finally, another question that I had more related to the sustainability. And what do you think? What roles does sustainability play in warehouse automation? And how can automated solutions help reduce environmental impact while improving the efficiency?
It's a very important question, and it's also important how this question is phrased. I personally believe that it is very often seen as what is the cost of sustainability and how can I achieve sustainability? For me, the question is different. The question is, how can I leverage sustainable practices and business models to make more money and to generate more revenue? And when we look at warehouse automation, um, we can easily think about that if you do better demand forecasting, you should have less waste.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you have if you have then a perspective which goes a little bit further and includes transport, if we use technology and automation to optimize our deliveries, then we reduce carbon footprint, we reduce fuel consumption.
that's
When
true.
we use the digital layer to introduce predictive maintenance, we will have vehicles that live and machines that live longer, hence less production, less emissions.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there are the quick wins, which is solar panels on the roofs of warehouses, which are very popular. And they are also, there are cases out there which clearly demonstrate this. They are beneficial to the bottom line. So for me, the big point is to think, uh, as I said, the other way around, look at what is available to through sustainable approaches improve my top line and my bottom line.
Yeah, yeah. So this is like really interesting, let's say, perspective that you just mentioned, not just like doing some kind of sustainable practices, but you use them in order to make your business efficient, to make, let's say, you have like less of the waste, less fuel consumption and all the stuff. So this is of course something that not just benefit the environment, but also benefits your company as well. And this is like really great approach to see these sustainability exactly in this direction. So thank you very much, and I completely agree with this vision. So that is why I think that we covered today all the questions that I had. Thank you for joining us today, Wolfgang, and sharing your insights on the future of warehouse automation. I believe that from smart operations to sustainable practices, it's clear that the future is bright and promising. And that is why, guys, stay tuned for more discussions on how technology is shaping the future of business. Thank you, Wolfgang.
My pleasure.